Okay, so today we have a pandas fundamentals. Pandas is the core module in Python for data manipulation. So everything that you do in tidyverse in R, you can do in pandas in Python. In my opinion, tidyverse is more practical. Maybe I'm biased because R was I started using R before I started using Python. But nevertheless, Pandas is also a very good module. How many of you have did use Pandas in before?
I wished.
You were, and how extensively? Yes. Okay, so you wanted just to say that you did. Okay. So how much did you use Pandas in the past?
Uh, for basics only, like uh, normal data frame
Mhm,
and a little bit of data manipulation for the IT.
mhm. Okay. So, I mean, we will not go far beyond this because tomorrow I will show you how you can do this with wipe coding, okay? Um, we will go through the basics so that you will know how to manipulate data. Otherwise, of course, you will have to do this learning by doing, I mean, when you will get a project. One very important thing is if you go to, for example, pandas Python, pandas is so important web page, web module from Python that it has its own web page. So you have so much documentation regarding pandas. You have pandas tutorials, like pandas tutorials. I mean, you see, like very, very, I mean, a lot of different web pages where you can use pandas. You can look at pandas, you see? I mean, really, like pandas cookbooks you can find. But the problem is that pandas is changing quite a lot, at least in the recent years, okay? So here you have Pandas Cookbook GitHub, which is, I think, free of charge, and they are actually uh, this is the code repository. Okay, just the code, not the book itself. Um, okay, from which year? Okay, October 2024. Okay, so here you have a very old cookbook, which is like completely outdated. So, what about this one? Yeah, okay. So for example, if we look at this one seems to be legit. But the documentation actually is um, quite good. See, like you a quick tour of Jupyter Notebook. Okay, this doesn't work. Reading from CSV. We will do this today. You see, you have everything. And you have here a Jupyter Notebook. You can just copy it probably. Yeah. You cannot run it, okay, like this. So, are you ready to start with pandas? Okay, first we will run our cell so that everything is loaded. Pandas is always imported as alias PD. PD is alias. I mean, I haven't encountered any other alias than the PD. Okay. And you can do everything. So today we will talk about the loading data, exploring data, filter by columns and rows, do the group by and the missing data. We will also do some of the manipulations, but I will not stuck with this too long. Why? Because this is very similar to what you already did in R, and we also do this in R. And because you have so many different exercises. And tomorrow you will actually do on your own. You will just, like go through this again, not this, but uh, come together. Everything will come together. Dictionaries, lists, pandas, uh, filtering pandas, grouping, everything will come together. So this will be really, let's say, like a wrap around the pandas tomorrow. Okay. So what pandas do? So the first thing is importing data. Importing data, and when you import data, you get immediately two-dimensional structure. So you have rows and you have columns, table. But if you only take columns, you will get series. So sometimes when you will just take one column of a data frame, you will talk about the series, a single column of a pandas data frame. So what do we have here? We actually create this series, okay, from 25, 13, 35, but we are giving the indexes a name so that actually you can say, okay, yeah, Alice is like 25 years old, Bob 30, and Charlie 35, okay? So this is a series. When you will subset data frame and took only one column, this is called series, and it has different methods than data frame. So that's why you will have to be careful when you will apply a certain methods. They are different for series and for data frames. Not all of them, but mostly yes. Okay, so do you remember what I told you on Friday? So what is the basic element, basic object in Python that you built upon? Malo, can you tell me? Malo Colorene, have I pronounced your surname correctly? Uh, or
Yeah, that's correct.
yes, correct. Okay. So, what is the basic object in Python that we built upon? In R, it's what? In R, you have, it's called with the letter V. Starts with the letter V. In R,
Yeah.
it is which object?
Honestly, I don't know.
Vector. What about in Python? Starts with the letter L.
Uh,
List.
okay.
Okay, so here we have lists of names, lists of ages, and a list of cities. Okay, so what is this called? I will ask Chen He. Chen He. I don't know how to pronounce. Sorry.
Hello, sir. Could you repeat the question again?
Yeah, okay, so what this that is highlighted, which object is this?
It's a dictionary.
Yes, true. So when you have a dictionary, you can simply create a data frame. Okay, so list, dictionary, data frame. Okay, so now we have here a data frame with three columns and three rows. Okay, but of course, this will actually usually not be the case, so that you will create a dictionary and then you will do some analysis. Usually you will get data and you will import data. So in our case, we have a comma separated value dataset called Titanic. Yes, it's about Titanic. No, it's not about Rose and Jack. I don't know if you watched that movie, Titanic, from the 1997. You know, yeah, I was 22 when that movie came out. Now I'm 50, so it was one of the most popular movies at that time, and all, let's say, the girls went into the movie just to look at Leonardo DiCaprio playing Jack. Have you watched? You know, like that's famous when they are at the front in the front of the ship Titanic, and he's holding her, and she's like king of the world or what she said. I don't even remember because I watched it only twice times. I'm more into like in the scenes, you know, like when they show the interior of Titanic, like the engine and you know, like the more mechanical stuff. Okay. So we have the Titanic dataset, we have the URL, and we just read this read underscore CSV. This stands for comma separated value. And yes, this data, so this is from the GitHub. Okay, if I show this to you, you see the values are really with the commas. Okay, I mean the columns are separated with the commas. So that's why we don't really need to do anything else here. If I would have semicolon, I would have to specify additional parameter like semicolon. So, or if there would be pipes, I would say, okay, um, my columns are divided by pipes. You have many different methods how you can actually load the data. So in our case, we loaded 891 rows and 12 columns. This is from CSV, okay? As I mentioned, if I showed you dir PD, okay, let me see if this will work, okay? So yeah, you can read from CSV, from the Excel, JSON, HTML, SPSS, SQL, XML. Okay, where is the uh, Parquet? Do you know? Have you ever encountered? Yes, Carl.
Yes, so please excuse me. You did something before everything appears. I want to know what is this?
Dear, this is
Yeah,
like
D.
dear, yeah, like show me all the methods. You know, like dear. This is show me all the methods of the
Okay,
class object PD.
okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So, okay, the parquet. Have you ever encountered the parquet file? Do you know what the parquet file is? As a data scientist, you will encounter the parquet data file. So the parquet data file is highly compressed CSV. Highly compressed CSV. And if you go to New York taxi data, this is the New York taxi. New York New York City taxi data. So here you can find, okay, I will just copy this to you. Here you can find the data about the taxi drives in New York. You know, you see, from 2009 up up to today. So the last one is for November. They will soon put up upload the December data. And if I go to Yellow Taxi trip, okay, I will download the Parquet data file. You see, this is the Parquet data file. And if we look at this Parquet data file, it has 57, it is 57 megabytes. What do you think? How many rows does this file have? What would you say? Like estimation.
57,000.
Well, this would be then in a regular CSV. Don't you think so? Now look, I will do this. New York City. Okay, I have to upload it. Yeah. Data uploads. Okay, so this will be then accessible only until I close my session. Okay. Okay. PD dot read parquet. Copy path. I'm not really sure where this is. Okay, it's like in a content. Yellow trip. You can still put your guess how many rows are in. Okay, so the data has been read. Now let's do the LAN New York City. New York. New York. Ah. Three and a half millions. Okay, 3.5 millions. So if this would be like a regular CSV, I guarantee you that this would be around 500 megabytes. So there is like 1 to 10 compress ratio Parquet data file to CSV. Okay, so this is like a really in data science you will encounter this Parquet data file. So that now you know. Okay, so in this case you get you can read highly compressed CSV data files. Now, the Titanic dataset. Okay, so what do we have in our Titanic dataset? We have the passenger ID, which is unique. Okay. We have the binomial variable. Binomial means two values. Zero didn't survive, one it survived. We have passenger class, so we have a first class, second class, third class. Then we have a passenger full name when we have a sex, male or female. We have the age in years. We have a ticket price. And we have the embark. So that means from which port, Cherbourg, Queenstown, and Southampton. Okay, so this is our data, and we will work on this data. So first, when you get the data as a data scientist, put yourself in the role of a data scientist, you will try to see how big the data frame is. And usually you start with the shape. The shape returns you the number of rows and the number of columns. So we have 891 rows and 12 columns in our data set. So this object that you see here is the tuple, as you remember from the last session. So this, once it is created, you cannot change it. Okay, this is a tuple, but you can still subset it. So, for example, if you would like to get only the rows, you would say df.shape, and then you would subset this for the first element. For this element, if you would only want to access the column, you would insert one. Okay, so the second one, which are the columns. Also, you can go also with more, let's say, primitive ways, like you have df columns. Okay, df columns gives you the list. This is not really the correct Python list, you see, but this is a list of columns. Okay, do you agree with me? Okay, so if I have list, I can simply say for column in df columns. Okay, print column. So every column is printed. I mean, very simple. But what if I would like to print only columns that end with the letter D? How would we approach to this problem? Louis, do you have any idea or ideas? Okay, not responding. So, how do we get back the last letter? Simple. -1. So we have D, D, S, E, X, okay? So then I would say if like D, okay, I have to put this into one tab to the right because this is now part of the if statement. Voila. Or if I would like to say to put everything so that I would print like everything in a lower um ah, no, 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 no. Okay, so what happened now? Why did this happen? We already have a string object. What do you think? Could I go just like this? Because it was already, I didn't have to say to him, okay, invoke str like in data frame, just go with the lower and see, I have everything here. Or with the upper. Okay. So everything clear? Okay. Again, as in R, we have head and tail. The only difference is how many rows by default do tail and head print compared to R. So in R, Surya, how many rows are printed by default with the head and tail function?
Top 5
No,
for 5
no,
or 10, I think
6 in
6.
R. In R, 6. In Python, 5. Okay, so in Python, 5. So this is the only difference. So again, we have head, tail, the last 5 rows, and sample, as already the name implies, random 5 numbers in our 5 rows in our case, okay, from the data set. You are now having already the data mining class, aren't you? Okay, one of the most important steps in data mining is that you will have to split a data set into training and testing data set, okay? Because on a training data set, you will train your model, whatever the model will be, and then you will test the performance of your model on a testing data set. And you will do this sometimes, you can do this with sample, okay? You will say, I want to sample out 80% of the rows should be meant for training and 20% for testing. So did you already have the class data mining?
Started from today, but sample we did in last semester on Excel using the 9.
Aha. But which software will you use for data mining?
I think we are using our
R.
yeah,
Tidyverse?
iTidyverse Art Studio we are using.
Tidy models for data mining or what?
Yeah, we are going to use I think Art Studio.
So we
Tidyverse.
just started our class, like it was our first lecture. So I think for the machine learning, she will tell like we are going to use some tool as well. I think ANOVA or something.
No, ANOVA is for statistics.
Mm,
This is a method for
okay.
statistics. ANOVA is a method. This is for analysis of one-way variance. Um, and this is just a part of the statist. I mean, this can be a part of the feature selection, but not, definitely this is not a data mining method. Okay, so the most important and the most widely spread data mining tool is Python. Python, definitely Python. Not R, R, no way R. Python. So maybe tomorrow we will do a data mining, maybe we'll do a data mining application with wipe coding. Okay, maybe this would be a great to see how this is done in Python and create a whole application. And I will explain it all also to you because I'm still completely because yeah on Monday uh, I was listening the project presentation for 10 hours about data mining project. So I'm still completely into data mining mindset right now. Um, so the sample, yeah, but of course we use more advanced methods for sampling. Uh, I will tell about this tomorrow. Okay, so printing the column names, we can use the to list. So this changes. Actually, you see here we have the index. Okay, so this is a list, and you can see the list here, but still. If you want to get a proper Python list, you have to use the methods toList. So this is now really, really the real pandas Python list. You can do whatever you want. All the operations that we did on the list, you can do here. Okay, so once you get around regarding the rows and columns and you look at the columns, you usually would like to know what are the data types of our columns, and you have D types, data types. So if you will have int, this implies numeric integer, okay? Float, you know why? Float, the integer that has missing values is then implicitly converted to float. And the objects are usually the strings, the texts, okay, the nominal variable. So you know, we have numeric variable, which can be interval and discrete, okay? And you have a nominal variable, which are completely nominal, so no special relationship between the values. And you have like ordinal, where the order is. Have you already heard about this concept? Yes, no? So what does a nominal? Okay, Chen, he already heard, but probably others didn't. So if I say the name Anna, Jane, John, what do you think? Is here any order? Is here any relationship between this, like relationship between these values? Or are these completely separate values? What do you think? Is Anna better than John? Just a name.
Can't decide.
No, 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 no. These are completely nominal variables, okay? You cannot do any comparison regarding John is greater than Anna. But if I tell you bet, better, the best, these are still nominal variables. But you can say that better is greater than bet, and the best is greater than better. Okay? You see, here is some order. Okay? You can then, for example, why am I still again holding my hand? Okay. You can then do some kind of sorting, you know. There is a relationship. That's why this type of variables are called ordinal variables. Okay? Do you understand the concept now? So here the objects are string and texts and float, and that's it, what we have. Okay, so also one of the important data probably sometimes is the amount of memory that your object um, has in memory. So in this case, if I run info, you see, I am using 83 kilobytes. So my Titanic dataset reserved 84 kilobytes. Now let me check how much the New York City info. You see, almost 500 megabytes. Okay. Everything clear? Now, then, usually you will start with some simple exploratory data analysis. Which method is the most basic one in R? Ting Yi Kao. Which method is the most
It's
basic?
summary.
Yes, correct. And in Python, it is describe. So describe will create basic statistics. Okay, so what do we have here? Passenger ID, not important for my case. I have survived, which is on, there are only two values, 0 and 1. Okay, so what does actually then a mean value mean if we only have 0 and 1? Can anybody tell me? If only I have a binomial variable, 0 and 1, not survived, survived, which are then survived is labeled, I mean, is coded as 1, not survived as 0. So what does a mean value tell me?
Like it's
Elise.
average percentage of
Average.
survival.
Yes, yes, yes. So in our case, 38% survival rate. Okay? 48% survival rate. Okay, what is this one? Or this?
These are different quarters divided.
Yeah. Okay, so this is called interquantile range. Okay. So if you do a box plot, have you ever seen a box plot? It's usually like this and
Yes, we have
Yes.
viewed it this morning.
okay. Like this. So this one is the 25, 50, and 75. Okay. And then usually you will see something like this. What are these?
Outliers.
Outliers.
Yes, usually the outliers. What do we do with outliers?
We exclude them while considering mean or other
It
values.
depends. It depends, Furia. It depends. It depends.
You
For
can also do
example,
that in range.
no, if you have a, let's say that we have a data mining project for fraud detection. Okay, so what are we actually looking in the at the fraud detection in the fraud detection project? Are we looking the usually profiles, which are this, or are we looking at something that is extraordinary? For example, when you are using your bank card, you know, the bank actually creates a profile of you, your habits. Okay, usually you buy there, this amount, and then something extraordinary happens, like outlier. Maybe this is a sign for the fraud. Okay, so it depends whether we are doing like general, like regression model or classification model, or are we doing the fraud detection model when the outliers are important? So that is something that depends on the context of your problem. Is this clear?
Yes.
Now, probably if you did today the already the box plot, then you will tell me what this is. What is this? What kind of a distribution is this?
Standard deviation.
No, this is a normal
Normal
distribution.
Normal
distribution.
distribution.
Normal distribution. So what is this here then?
Mean.
What else?
Median.
This
Median.
is
Yes.
mean.
It is
Median and mode.
mode.
Modus. Yeah. Okay. So they are all the same where you have a normal distribution. Okay. They are the same. Okay. Now let's look at the rate. Okay. Let me clear drawings. So in this case, let's look at the rate. So this is the mean and this is the median. What do you think? What kind of a distribution is this? Okay, so this is a bet, so I'm not a painter. Still not good. Okay, like go down and like this, okay? So then the median is, for example, here, and the mean is here. Okay, so median is less than mean, like in our case. So what does this mean? That means that we have a small amount, a very few, very high expensive tickets that will draw the mean towards the right. Okay? So in this case, where median is less than mean, the tail is on the right side. Okay? And we measure this kind of asymmetry with something that we call skewness. Okay? And in this case, skewness is greater than 0. If the skewness is greater than 0, then tail is on the right. If skewness is less than 0, then tail is on the left, so like this. So here we have a very small amount of um, very few with a very low value of something. I don't know what would be the uh, presentation of this kind of asymmetry, but it is asymmetrical to the right, to the left. Tail is on the left. Okay. So that's why when politicians are manipulating with you, when they will only talk about the mean, mean can be quite high. Okay. But if they don't tell you where the median is, you don't know what kind of distribution it is. If they will say, okay, let's say that there is like 2,000 euro of the average salary in France. I don't know what is exactly the number, but the median is like 1,300. And politicians will only talk about this. They are fooling you, okay? Because the salary always have tail on the right. So if some politician will say, yeah, but the mean salary is like this, then ask him, what is also the median? Or the standard deviation or something. Look how big the standard deviation is. Me, myself, and Elon Musk are both billionaires. Okay? In average. The standard deviation is out of proportions. Please tell me that now you understand this logic. Yes?
Yes, a little.
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes if you will have a lot of columns, okay, you can use the transpose command, so it just, like flips. Okay, so then you will have here the columns as a rows, okay, and this will be standard because you always have like only these measurements here, okay. So what can you do if you only have categorical nominal variables? What can you actually do regarding statistics? Do you remember this?
Could you please repeat the question?
What can you do if you have nominal variables? What kind of statistics can you do? So we can see that based on the numerical variables, you can do all these sorts of statistics. What about on the nominal variables?
Maybe count and frequency.
That's practically the only thing. So frequency counting, frequency distribution. That's it. Okay. And so here, actually, you see I'm creating a series and I am counting the survived and not survived. Okay. Not survived, survived. Okay, what is this type of normalization? Normalize. It's actually trying to do the one hot encoding. So it changes the. I mean it. So for example, if we would have. Okay, so this is the data mining stuff already. But let me explain. For example, if we have a salary, it is dependent variable. The independent variable should be the age. And let's say the number of children, number of cars. Okay. Let's say the number of the cars is 0, 1, blah, 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 blah. And we have salary and we have age. So this one is like in, let's say, thousands. And this one is like 45, 40. What do you think when you will create a data mining model where you will want to predict the number of cars based on the salary and the age? If you would go with the numbers like this. The problem is, in this case, that the variable with the higher scale prevails. Okay, so this variable here, salary, will have a much higher impact in the model, not in the real life. I don't know, but in a model, than the age. Because the age goes, okay, to 100, This one goes to 10,000. Okay? So that's why you have to put both of them before you put them into the model into the same scale. So that's why you perform the standardization, normalization, voila, okay? You will hear this in statistics in data mining. So you have to do the standardization, normalization. Normalization means let's put them maybe on a range from 0 to 1, from -1 to 1, from -10 to 10, whatever you want, okay? So just you want to normalize the data so that they are all on the same scale. Otherwise, the variable with the higher scale will prevail. Okay, these are the methods that we used. Here you have the exercise. Okay, so now let's go to selecting our columns. Okay, we will look at three different methods, and usually you will see only the first one in real life. Sometimes if you want to do something very fast, you also will see the second one. Okay, so let's say here we have one single column. Okay, we want to select only age. I can always, now this is age, you see, it says serious. This is not a data frame returned. It is a serious return. Okay? Not a data frame. That is very important. If you want, so if you go with one individual column, you will usually get back a series. This also depends on the settings of Jupyter Notebook, but usually you will get the series. If you want to get back, in this case, also the data frame, I would say ages df. Okay, you have to use two square brackets. Okay, so this is now a data frame. You see a difference. This is a series. This is a data frame with one column. See? If I say here type, okay, it says series data frame. Okay, so you have to be careful because the methods that you would like to use depend on this, whether you have a series or you have a data frame. Like
So the
series.
so
Yes.
the data frame is depend upon row and column both, right?
Yes.
Series only one single value.
I mean, you could use this you could say as treat that as a list, but it's not a list, but like you have a lot of like array of values, not a column, not rows, just a list. Series. Okay, panda series to lists. Okay, you can also see you can use the to list. You cannot do this with data frame, especially if you have more than one column. Okay, where are you? Here. So I can easily say ages to list. Okay, see? Now this is a list. Simple list. I think that probably, okay, let me just remove this. If I go here, I mean, I never tried this because this doesn't have any value, but let's say if I put this into to list, I never put a data frame to list, but probably in this case, maybe it will work. No, see, because data frame has no attribute to list. Okay, you see a difference. So actually we have the same values, but in the first case, they are in a list. So I can use the to list in a series, so I can use to list. The second way, the second example, we have values in a data frame, so I cannot use to list because data frame doesn't have this method. So this depends. You see, when you will manipulate data, you will say, okay, no, I will use a series, so that's why I will can use the to list. Then I will use the for loop, and I will do something. Or on the other hand, no, I will although I have only one column, I will put this as a data frame, and yeah, I will use the apply function in a data frame. So that all depends on the context of the problem that you're trying to solve and your skills, not your skills anymore, the AI skills, but just that you understand the concepts, like two different object types. One column is actually serious, okay? Do you understand? That is very important. Very important that you understand the discrepancy between serious and the data frame. Data frame always two dimensions, although you have only one column.
Yes, understood.
Yeah. Okay, so now, if you want to select more than one column, you have to apply a list of columns. Okay? So this, if I say this part, I will say list of columns. Okay? Simple, base object, voila. And I am then just putting my list of columns and subset them in uh, in a data frame. So this is what I got back. Usually you will subset in a this way and no other way, though there are two other options. Okay, two other options, but you will go with this one usually all the time. Okay, we explained this. So the other type is with index location. As the name implies, we will use the numbers. But before that, I would suggest that we have a 15-minute break for 15 minutes. Then we will switch to so we said that the second type of subsetting, columns and also rows in this case, is by using the indexes. So if we look at iloc, let me understand the iloc. I explain you iloc. So iloc is like this. These here are rows, then it is comma, and then there are columns. Okay? This is the definition of iloc. But you can also specify with the iloc the ranges. So you could say range start and for rows, comma, start and for columns. Okay? So you can also specify ranges, not only one value, but from this to this, but you can combine them. For example, a range for rows and just one number for column, okay? Or vice versa, or both, or just one value for rows and for columns. First row, all columns. If you omit, you can omit rows, okay? So if you want to get the first column and all rows, just like this. This is first row column and all rows. Last row and last column. So one cell. Okay? You can also do like this. First four rows. In this case, this means first, third, and fifth row. Okay? And first column. So these are first, third, and fifth row and first column. I could also say like first column, third column. What do you see in this case? What do you think are the downsides of this approach? Robin, what would you say that these are the what are the downsides of this approach with iLock? Robin is not responding. What about Liao, you, Xuan?
Yes.
What do you say? In your opinion, these are the downsides of this approach with iLock. Like this. If you would have this approach in your application.
Uh, Sorry, I don't know.
I mean, let's say that you get your data set from one provider. I don't know, maybe a different department provides you a data set and you put this into your application. What if they add another column in front of all other columns?
Mm,
Then specifying the index, the position of a column isn't correct anymore. Okay? It's not
yeah.
correct anymore. So what was previously the first column is now the second column. So if you then have something like this, you would subset wrong columns. So going by the positions is only good in the prototyping phase when you are doing by yourself prototyping, okay?
Mm.
For production, no way. No way. Uh, did you, okay, so this is a question now for everyone. Did you already have the SQL course? What did they told you about this? What did they told you about this? Did they tell you about this?
select everything
Yes.
from the table and where the
Yes. Okay, but the asterisk, okay, is that, for example, when you are let's say that this is a procedure that returns 5 columns, which are then expected to be used, let's say, in the insert statement. If you don't specify the name of the columns, again, if someone will add, for example, the administrator or the data developer, a new column, you will get a new column here without expecting it. Okay, so this is definitely not the way to go. In a production, you have to be exact. In the prototyping phase, you can, let's say, cheat. Get it? And then the third one is the lock. Okay, so here the location, actually, you can again access this location by name. Why is this, for example, nice? Because you can specify the ranges. Does this remind you of something? Tidyver select, where you can specify ranges. Remember? Okay. Again, first for rows and the name column. Multiple columns, a range of columns. So if you need a range of columns, then you can go by this. Okay, you could, like combine. You can combine the methods, which is counterintuitive. But you can, for example, say, give me, let's say, name and age, and then you would say iLock. You would specify. Okay, so this one is stupid. Let's say like this. Okay. Now I combined the iLock where I did the subsetting of rows, but I went with the subsetting of columns. I went in traditional way. Okay. This is also possible. Is this something that is logical? Do you understand it? Elise, which kind of approaches are you using in your line of work?
To choose, for example, between lock and a lock.
Yes. I mean, and also this one. Which one are you using when you are programming in Python?
I'm not using this. I just learn now.
Aha, okay. I thought that you use Python in your work.
Yes, but no with lock and etc. But for to select, for example, a list, I just use simple brackets.
Aha, okay. Okay. So lock and iLock a lock for iLock for prototyping, not for production. Okay, then filtering. So let's filtering. So we filter columns and then we filter rows. So this one is the simple one, the simplest one. Okay, so let me look. If I select the series, okay, this is series, and I check the series against a condition. In my case, I'm checking whether the age is greater or equal to 18. And if I execute this, I will get true or falses. Okay, you see, somewhere I get false, somewhere I get true. And then, okay, you know that if I select, if I put Boolean operation, because the result of filtering is always Boolean. For example, in this case, for the first row, we have true value. That means when I will embrace this, okay, that means that the first row will be shown, okay, because here we have a true. And this one, which is 880, which row? 880 Tingy cow, which row is this one?
Um, just plus one.
No, this one.
It's 889.
Yes, that I wanted to hear. So it's 889, not 888, okay? This will not be shown. So if I now run it, see? Missing. Okay? So only the rows where the value was actually true. When you go with one condition, you can just put it like this. You can also use the brackets. Okay? The brackets are mandatory when you are using more than one condition. Okay? If you have only one, the brackets are optional. If you have more than one condition, the brackets are mandatory. So if I now add additional condition, and that's just like in R, okay, so where is now my and? Okay, and I will go with that one. Okay, so now my command says, give me back all rows where the age is greater or equal 18 and people survived. Passengers survived. Okay, I get 229 rows. Okay. I can add not survived. Okay, I could write they did not survive. I have 372 rows. Okay. If I then delete this by len of df, and I will say times 100. Okay, I will just go with one column. Which one should I go? No, I will go like this. Len of this one, like this. And I think that I can use round here. I'm not really sure if round will go round to 2. No. Okay. So we see that 42% of people who are older than or equal 18 years did not survive. Let's check. What is if they are younger? And now I don't, again with my keyboard. Okay, I will go with that one. With that one. Uh, Only 5%? No. Oh, yeah. Okay, it's true. And only 5% of people who were young did not survive. Okay, let's look at the ones who did not survive. Who did survive is then, by definition, 95%. Len, H, and survived. Okay, what am I missing here? Round, I get back how many of those 6%? Let me just... 69. Oh yeah, of course, I would have to look at here. I would have to say it's wrong. The ones who were against did not survive, who are actually around lands. Okay. I mean, this isn't the best way to go. I don't need that one. I'm only trying to get all those who are less than 18 years old. Okay. That one closes that one. That one closes that one. Okay. Okay, so 53% of young people actually survived. 54%, okay? I'm comparing this, the survival rate against all people of the young age, okay? 53% people survived. And of course, if I put this here 0, I would have to get 46 didn't survive. If I would go to the adult, okay. Okay, so you see 61% didn't survive. So what does this imply? Xuventing. What does this imply? This is not statistically significant yet, but what does this exploratory analysis imply?
Sorry, sir, I didn't fully understand your question.
Yeah, okay, so we found out that the only 46% of young people, so the people less passengers less than 18 years old, died, didn't survive, and 61 or 62% of adult people, so older than 80%, didn't survive. So what does this imply? 46 against 62.
I would say like adult people give more survival chance to the children.
Yeah, so this was like young and female first. It was, if you watch the Titanic movie. So if we would go into more depth, okay, we would see, if we would analyze this, what are the variables that influence on that, on actually on those whether a person survived or didn't survive. We will look into this tomorrow when we have like off day. I have more time for creativity. Okay. Yeah. So the older you were, the less chance you got to survive. If we would now, for example, look at, I don't know, add the women here, or even specify, I don't know, go under the, let's say, let's go under, I don't know, under 10. You see, only 21% didn't survive. So 10, oh, it's 10. So 61 survived here. Again, so probably let's go to 5 and to 5. 67. Okay, let's see whether really, really smart children survived. Okay, not that, not different. Okay, so this is how you actually do some kind of the analysis, what if analysis. So these are the comparison. We also have one additional very important one, which is negation, not, which is tilde. In this case, you have to use the brackets, okay? So this is the negation. This one will be executed the first one. So when is this useful? For example, like here, you say not in first class, okay? You specify first class, and then you say not first class, because otherwise you would have to write it like this. 2 or 3, okay? Instead you say equal to 1, not, and then all other options are available. In this case, you would go like this, or a little bit shorter with the operator is in, and then again list 2 and 3. Okay, this one is a little bit shorter. So I need another, no, this case. Yeah. One. This one closes that one. Okay. This one. Like this one. Okay? But like I say, equal 1 and then the negation. So these are then the tricks you can use in your code. For example, the code is shorter. But if the code is shorter in your application, then it's much more difficult for someone that's, for example, if you would leave the company and someone would take over your work, it would be much difficult for him, if he's especially if he's a junior, that he or she would understand the code. Okay, do you understand now how you can actually translate or into is na, or you can say the first one and, if it is possible, the negation of all others. How would you do this in R? Carol, do you have any idea how is in defined in R?
No idea.
How?
I have no idea.
No idea. Remember this? Like this? Okay. Okay, these are the complex condition. So, see, greater than or equal 18, female class survived. Okay, so now we can check For example, the percentage, let's go with this complex filter here that we have the survival, okay. I will put the complex filter here. No, I just need that one. This. Okay. And I will do to all of them. Okay, so what I'm missing? This one closes that one, closes. Yeah, Boolean array. Div len of dx complex filter. I don't see a problem. Okay, let me explain the error and Gemini will I don't see the error. Maybe some bracket is missing or oh, it's already a data frame. Okay, so yeah. Accept and run. Okay, so now you see. Now you see. So if you're a female and in the first class you did survive. Okay, so it was a chance of that was 97%. 97%. Is in, then we have between, okay, nothing special. Then please do the exercises and do the quiz, okay? So in the morning, there were still only 10 students who actually took the module 2 quiz. I expect that you do this. Okay. The string operations. Very simple. There are quite many different operations that you can do, manipulations. We will look a few of them. And how you invoke the string operations in Python. You call the .str. So then you can invoke, okay, the string operations. What are the usually operations? For example, putting everything to lower, to upper, to proper, finding something, replacing something, then splitting something. Yeah, and that's it. Okay? These are usually the methods that you would like to do. And also, usually when you get data, sometimes, like people, if I show you this in the Excel, people add spaces. For example, and the Excel is very strict regarding this, also Python. For example, if I would say John here, okay, and sometimes they will add enter and then space and then enter. And when you would go, like this would seem okay. But when you would search John, like let's say that this would be name, and the age, say 28. Okay. When I would say here then let's say Jim 30, okay? Let's say worker and age, okay? I will use the old VLOOKUP. So I would say here equal VLOOKUP. I need that one. And here I would like to return the second one and exact match. I don't know how proficient are you in Excel, but just what I'm trying to find is if I write Jim, you see I get 30. Let me go with John. Now John. And people, like they say, when I worked still at other faculty, and then my colleagues, sometimes, especially one who worked in Excel, came to me and said, Urosh, I cannot find why the VLOOKUP doesn't work. I get the NA back. Why doesn't work? Okay. So that's why usually when you will get data, okay, in Excel, you would use stream that actually trims unwanted leading and trailing spaces. Okay, because you want to clean the data. This is very, very important. Okay, now let's look at the most simple methods. So, as I mentioned, you start with the .str and then you specify the method lower, upper, the length of its string, or if you split the number of, if you will use split the number of elements and strip, remove white spaces. Okay, so in that case, like, let me do now the, I will write here the AI. Gemini, please create a data frame with 5 names and 5 names and ages and salary, and at 2 names use leading or trailing spaces. Then prepare the filter when we will, for example, want to find a certain person that has a trailing or leading spaces. Okay. Okay, so you see now I have here Alice, who has leading and trailing space. Eve only has trailing spaces. Okay. Everything else is okay. So I would say accept. Oh, okay. So you see, this is okay. Eve and attempting to find Charlie. Okay. This will find Charlie. Charlie is okay. No, it's not. It's not okay. It has a leading space. So like this. Okay. No Charlie. And then when we do the stripping, you see, we can go like this, so that in the method we strip and then say equal to Charlie. That means that on the fly, the method will remove leading and trailing spaces and we find Charlie. Or you could just say, like this is feature creation, feature engineering that you will do in data mining. You could say also like this. I will take df and name. I would say that this is equal to df name and str and strip. So now I did a new feature, which is the old feature, just the spaces, the white spaces are removed. Okay, now let's look at the df. Oh, this is not, okay, this df names, okay, sorry, the df names. Like this, like this, like this. Okay, so now you see I did a preparation of my data so that I removed the leading and trailing spaces. Clear? Okay. And I could also, for example, nest. I can also nest. I don't have to, like go like this, for example. And then I would say to upper. Okay. You don't have to do this. You can just take this part and move it here. You can just chain this. You can just chain, okay? So at first I will strip and then I will put everything to upper and then I don't know what's, okay? I would do, you can just chain this. But of course, if you do this like a long chaining commands, this would be unreadable. You get it? Girls, get it? Okay. Only one, two, okay. Then, okay, so we did this. Okay, lowercase, so we already went with all of this. So you have contains, okay? So in that case, having leading or trailing spaces would work. Miss in passengers 129. Okay. So what is this? Carol, you are muted if you want to say something. How do we call this type of expression?
Is it or?
Is it or? Yes, it is or. And how do we call this type of expression? A regular expression. Okay, when you're trying to actually putting like this or, we are already doing the regular expressions. I know that from the previous group you did something about the regular expressions until now. We will do much of the regular expressions much more in our class, okay? In our class. Then you have starts with, ends with. Again, as like is as with in tidyverse. Is there a way how you could actually write this without str? Good. what will happen? Error. What should we do in that case? Why this doesn't work? How would we get back a new column where with the values where the value would be the last letter of a name? Guide me. Okay, so as we tried, so this one doesn't work. Oh, this one works. Why this one doesn't work? This one works, but returns something else. It doesn't return me what I want. What I want is the last letter, not in that case I get what? The last, in this case, the first whole name. In that case, I would definitely go with more advanced function. I don't know. I think that you would. I think that you will see this function tomorrow. Okay. Okay. Get away.
We can do also dot string -1 also, right?
Yes, you could do. But I really like this apply and the lambda, okay? Maybe I'm biased, but so what I did here was actually I'm using the apply method, and then I'm specifying a special function called the lambda function. I will talk
So
about the functions on Friday a little bit, okay? Lambda function, and the lambda function returns the last letter of my name. And this could be a new. So here I can do, I can create a function outside, completely new function, and I would call that function here. For example, I could call, I don't know, uh, a random function and like this, okay? So outside of the data frame, I could do something, and then I would apply that. So this is really lambda functions, homework, home assignment. Check the lambda functions. Very powerful, very useful with combination of with apply. This is something that you should definitely know. Lambda function.
lambda specifically used for which case means in the data frame only.
Can you repeat the question?
Lambda specifically used for into the data frame only, or
Yeah. I mean, this is like a functional programming, okay? Which is very popular right now. Functional programming. There's like apply, and lapply, and so on in R. Okay, so split. For example, here you see I'm splitting if I have by comma, I will split this name into two list of two elements. Okay, list of two elements, and what I can do something. For example, what do we do in this case? We are getting the first element. Look, we will be getting this one. So we are splitting and then we are taking the first one. Okay? Or, okay, so this will not work in this case, so I cannot do it. Let me just check and do this. Okay, so you see, I get many. So here I have first element, second element, third element. Okay? These are all the lists, you see? These are all the lists. Would you agree? Do you agree? These are all the lists. And you know that with len, I can actually check how so you see 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So apparently I only have one comma and I get two elements. Okay, what do I get in this case? Okay, so let's go like this. What do I get in this case? And what do I get in this case? Now let's go first with this one. Elise, have you ever encountered this kind of code? Elise, not Elise, sorry, Elise.
Yes.
You did?
Yes, I just use it.
Aha. Okay, so then you can tell your schoolmates what you get. What are we looking at? What are these numbers?
Um, we search the length of all spaces in each rows. No, I don't
No,
know.
actually, in this case, actually, yeah, it counts the number of without this. Okay, if you look only the spaces. Okay, so we split. You see, uh, if I put it like this, you see, I'm getting every word on its own. So every word is now element. Okay, Brown, Mr. Owen, Harris. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here we have 4. Okay, so this actually returns the number of words. So how many words are in a name of a individual? So Mr. That. The number of words. What about this? This is something different.
It's the total of letters.
Exactly. Exactly. So don't mix these two. Okay? This one splits by the letters. The first one splits by the spaces. So if I say code, okay, let me create a string. Experiment. Okay, I can say for letter in string dot split print letter. Letter, and I will say, please, okay, split by like this. Empty separator. Yeah, you should do it. Okay, string one. Okay, maybe. Why is this now not working? Okay, this will not work. Of course not. Experiment should work. String one. Okay, explain error. Maybe if I put it like this. Mm, mm. Oh, actually, yeah. Letter in string one, print letter. Okay, this is not something that I wanted to. Yeah. Okay, by default. Experiment per se. And if I only say string one split, okay. No. You know that in R you can do str underscore split. Did you do this? Str underscore split. Do you remember? Uh-huh. Yes, I will add you, Fanny, okay? So str split you have, and here I can't get it work. Okay, so dead end. Also, you can use the expand, so you can put the first element into the last name and the second element to the first and title column. Regular expressions, we will do this with in R. Will have a special lecture dedicated only to regular expressions. Okay, so here we have a few examples you see of chaining, which is something that is not we already covered. So these are the summary of string methods, the most important. Okay. Here you have the again the exercise. Please do it. Then we have the datetime operation. So in pandas, you have a whole subclass dedicated to datetime operations. The problem is when you get data, and this data is actually string. The rows are actually strings, and if you want to do some datetime operations, of course, you have to change them, convert them into datetime, because you know that in datetime uh, data type has many methods which are very useful for intelligence, daytime intelligence. For example, you can see whether what happened on the first day, or I can, for example, ask you that you should calculate how many weekends come to how many Saturdays are on the second of every month, okay? And so you can do like really time intelligence. In order to do this, you have to convert string to date time. So pandas has this date time operator method. Okay, so here we are creating the data. This is called the ISO standard. So if you will provide the dates in this kind of format, datetime will always know how to parse them. If you have some special strings datetime format, you will have to also provide what is the format of the dates. I will show this later. Okay, so this is now, you see, it is the object. That means this is a nominal data, string, text, nothing special. Now I'm converting this to date time, and you see that this is now a date time object. And we must handle different formats. If the format is really something very special, like, let's say, you would have like this, and then like this. Okay, I will just delete other one. Okay, so this is the American style. Okay, this is the American style. Let me do this separately. So you see, now we have date time. Okay, it recognized that this is a day. Of course, it cannot be a month because there is not 15th month and 20th month, but it is. Okay, so it recognized them. And so now we have this in a date time format. And now we can do the analysis. Okay, we can do the analysis. These are the most common formats. Also, you have, like the percentage sign. Okay. Now we have a percentage sign and A. Do you know what that is? Do you remember this from the R session? It's a weekday, whole weekday name, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, if I still remember correctly. Okay, so these are the way how you can actually then specify the format of dates. Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, we have it here. Yeah, full weekday name. Okay, you see, this is a full weekday name, and then you have a small letter A. It's abbreviated weekday. Okay, so for example, what does probably you are now thinking, what the hell does this mean? Okay, why would I need this? Why would I need this? But if someone, let's go back. Would provide okay, so today we are 21st. of 1, and I will go 22 of 1, and I will put here what is Wednesday. Thursday. Okay? Probably it will also handle this. No, it didn't. You see? It didn't handle this. It didn't. Okay? Says time data does not match format. Okay? So now I have to specify, okay, yeah, I have to help my poor pandas. And I had to say, okay, the first one is actually abbreviation of a weekday. Then I have a space. Okay. Then comes the day. No, it's not a day. It's a month actually. Month 0 padded. Okay, yeah. So it has to be M. If it would be like this, should be again different. Okay. Months 0 padded. Is there any other way? No, it's not actually. Okay. Okay, so we said space, month, then day, and slash, and the capital Y. Why the capital Y?
For the four numbers of year.
Yes. Okay, so A. Okay, is that should be Monday? No, this should be Wednesday, Thursday. Okay, what am I missing here? Day is there, month is there, year is there. Format. Oh, maybe that one is problematic. Yeah, you see, one space and everything was wrong. Okay, so now you see again, this is now parsed. With dates, you will have problems, I guarantee you, because especially when I worked for a German company, you know, they wrote the month names, abbreviated month names, and also they had like umlauts and so on. And I had to change the local so that I could read in the German names. That is something sometimes that you will have to do. So, for example, if I would go here with Slovenian names, uh, it's called SRE, called Sreda, which means Wednesday, and Thursday. Probably this will fail. You see, because it doesn't understand. Okay, I would have to 2 day time. Let me see. It should have pandas also the local. Another parameter. Uh, Format exact unit origin. It doesn't have, so I should change the settings of. Oh, I don't know. Okay, let me ask Gemini. Okay, Gemini, I have this pandas data where my abbreviated names are Slovenian names. I would like to change my characters to my character strings to date times, but I have to specify that these are the Slovenian names. In R, you have a local. Do you remember? Weekday, and you have a local, and you just say Slovenian. And okay, so this is not what I mean, this is definitely not recommended, okay? So see that I would create the names, no. Yeah, the local. Ah, okay, so it's a completely different import, you see? Then you have to change the local to Slovenian, okay? Then do this to daytime and then convert the local back to whatever it was. So yeah. With dates, you will always have problems. Guaranteed. Where are you? You will have problems, okay? So here we have mixed, okay? You could go with mixed. Sometimes it will work. Sometimes it just will not. But uh, my suggestion to you is if you will work as a data scientist and someone will send you this messy data, send the data back to him and say to him, just make them in the same format. Do not do this. What kind of a sane person would do this? You know, like sometimes using that format, then the other format, and so on, so on, so on. Okay, now we will just uh, make a present attendance for Fanny Venkata. Okay, just a second. So that then we can continue. Where is this? Okay, or not. NEOMA school. Is clear everything clear till now regarding the daytime and what are the problems? Okay, so that one. Stop and then restart. Start. Close and Delta. Okay, I'm again looking at the wrong one. No, it is the right one. Okay. Kota is the surname. Okay, done. Honey, it's done.
Yeah. Thanks, Professor.
Sometimes, can you just explain me? Okay, so I wanted to ask you, ask the students from the previous year, but why sometimes there is only a name without a surname? Is this like a cultural thing or, for example, here in, like I have like a dash and then just a name. I didn't understand last name, so it's like sometimes you don't have a surname or what? Okay, no answer.
I mean, yes, for the some case it is like sometimes you don't have a surname. Like
Really? I found that this is like a legally, I mean, from the legal perspective that you have to have Also surname. Okay, so that's something very interesting. And this is then you also in the passport you only have a name.
Yeah, it is. In our class, I know one person who doesn't have a surname, but a first name considered for that country.
Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. So this is then a culture because here in Robin, so now that the class ended, the QR code for present code didn't work. I will ask. Okay, Robin, I will. Yeah, I see. It didn't work, but now I did registered you. Okay. Okay, that's because here in Slovenia, uh, you cannot have only name or only surname. You have to have both name and surname. That's like a legally, like it has to be like this. Okay, let's go back to our. So for the daytimes, we use the DT, okay? And then you specify methods. Again, here you have a whole bunch of methods. Like weekday. So let's see day name is here. Okay, I think that the day name has the local. Okay, let me just check it. If the day name has local, like the R. Okay, let me see if I will get some help, like local. No, let me ask. Gemini, can I change the day name to name in other languages? So can I use the locals or local parameter? So let me see. No, it doesn't. Okay. So relies on the local settings of your operating. Yeah. Okay. So it doesn't have like R has it. Okay. R has it. Okay. So we have the whole month name. So how would you, for example, do if I ask you, I will, no, like this, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, create a procedure when you will calculate how many Saturdays and Sundays uh, come to a certain day of the month. So, for example, how many Saturdays start on the first of a month, second of the month, third of the month, fourth of the month. Wow. You have to go line by line. Okay. How would you approach to this problem? The most simplistic, in the most simplistic way. The first thing would be create dates from, I will write like this, 26 to Would you agree? This will be the first step. Then I would go through every, I will write loop through every day and if Saturday or Sunday increase the count. Okay, so this is much easier with the group by, I already see. Okay, so I would go through every day and then I would have to store like a list of Saturdays and Sundays. Okay, so I would create a nested list. I would go through every day, and if Saturday and Sunday, I would just take that day and put it into, okay, so I only need to put it in the day into, let's get, okay, so Saturday and Sunday. Okay, so I would have a range and I would go through every day, and if they would come to Saturday and Sunday, I would put this into my list. At the end, I would have a list of 0, of 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5, whatever, and then I would do just the split and count. And I would get how many Saturdays and Sundays come to a certain point. Okay, now let me do this. Create a range of dates. Now let's check the Gemini to kick in, or I will say to him. Okay, so with the date range, frequency is day. Okay, yes, accept and run. Okay, so if we look at the ranges, okay, so now here I have a list of all dates, and what I am interested in are two things. Okay, only two things. I would say dates, use this as okay, so these are already in pandas. So do you know where I'm going? What I will do now? I will create dates I will say days. Okay, I will say that this is this one, date and day name. Okay, okay, I would say here weekday. day name weekday. And this one, like, let me just see what I will get. They range, okay. Date method in, this is not a data frame. Okay. Change it to data frame. How would you actually start developing this part? And it didn't do anything. Do it. Okay, I would just write to him. Since you do not obey me, just calculate how the number of Saturdays and Sundays on every number of day in a month, in a whole year in 2026. Do it in a current cell. Okay, see, I will perform the calculation and nothing happens. Back. Do it in a current cell where my cursor is. So nothing happened. Huh, okay. Apparently I had to click accept and run. Can I do this on my own and send you the code? Okay. Okay, so here you see you can actually then do the filtering by date, by year, month, quarter. So then this is really becoming very simple. For example, to calculate the average sales by years or something like that, you have also the arithmetics. So you can add, like add 7 days, add 30 days in time delta. You cannot just put, like in this case, you cannot just go like +7. Okay? You have to specify in time delta which part you would like to change. You see, by class time delta, you can go by days, seconds, microseconds, minutes, hours, and weeks. Okay? you can add this type. You can add it, you can deduct it. If you want to do calendar day offsets, you can go with years, months, weeks. Okay? If you want to change with the offsets, okay? Calendar aware operations. Like adding 1 month. Because why? Why why you can add days, but why you cannot add months? Think. Why can you add days but not months? Because dates are usually stored and the number of days from a certain point. This is probably the easiest way to demonstrate in Excel. For example, if I say today, okay, which will give me the current date. But I will change this to number. You see, today is the 46,043 days since 31st of December 1899. Excel actually counts from this date. Okay? So that's why you can do simple days operations. You can, for example, subtract, deduct, you can add days without any problems because this is the number of days since that date. That's why 31st, it is number 1. Okay, I would have to do it, insert it like date and say year 1911. You see, it's 1. I don't know which date is the official date for pandas, but I know that in R it's like 1970 and something like that. Okay, so that's why I can add days, but I cannot add months because what I cannot add months in a this way time delta. I have to do this in more aware operation. Okay, more aware operation. With days, it is very simple. And also here you see different between dates, you will get days. Okay, you will get days. Days. Difference between days. Okay, in this case, you see, I'm using this date. I could also, for example, say today. I would have to go with import time today and minus that date, and I would get the result in days, just like here. For example, if I do go back to the general, no, to the what was the short dates, and this one is short date, I can easily say this minus this, and I get the number of days. But I cannot get the number of months like this. Why? Because we have leap years, you know, some months have different numbers of days. So that's why I cannot do this in that case. We will prolong just for a few more minutes, okay? To go through everything. So you can do this. So these are all, let's say, the most important date methods. now the group by operation. Okay, so this is pivoting. Are you familiar with the pivot tables in Excel? Who knows the pivot tables in Excel? Okay, one person. Only one, two. Okay, three. Okay, so grouping, group by, uh, here it's just like pivoting. Okay, so what are we doing in our case? We are taking the group by and grouping data by the passengers class, and then we are calculating the mean fare by the average fare by the classes. So you see, the first class has the highest price of a ticket. Okay. What is the problem? Okay. It is the same. Okay, so these are all the common aggregation functions in pandas, which are the same probably everywhere. Okay, probably everywhere. For example, here I'm having if I take the first example and explain this to you. Okay, so I did the grouping by the passenger class on the fare column, and I applied four aggregation functions: mean, max, and count. So what if I wanted to do now further on this data? I cannot. Why? Because this is not a data frame, at least not a regular one. This is now a pivot table, you see? This is a pivot table. And I cannot do it. You will see that this is the same problem as in tidyverse when you do the group by, do some aggregation, and then you have to ungroup it. So in this case, I will call the reset index. Now, again, you see, this change the format. I can do this further like any normal data frame. Do you agree? Understand? Reset index. This is like the ungroup in R. We will do the ungroup a lot of times. Also, you can specify different aggregation functions to columns. For example, so for the survived, I specified the mean. For the age, three of them. See, again, I'm using the list on the age, list of the aggregation functions on the age. So here I have count and mean. Okay. Again, survived, age. This is a pivoting. This is a pivot table. What can you tell me? What was the what can you tell me about the surviving passengers and the passenger class? Valentin, what can you tell me? Can you see any pattern?
No, I don't see.
How you cannot see it? How? Look. 24% of the third class passengers survived. 47 of the second and 63 of the first.
It doubles every time.
What it does? What did you say?
It doubles every time we add the
Yes. Okay, so you see, you had much greater chance to survive if you were in a first class passengers. So now we will do something else. We will take this one, and we will group it by 2. Okay, so I will use the list in a grouping clause because you have to use it. Okay, and I will also say here sex. I use it sex, yes. And let's look at the okay, I will go with the survive. Yeah. Survived, and I will look at the mean, okay? Okay, so what can you see here? What was the worst possible position? Liao, Yu, Hu, San. Okay, Liao. Can you now explain what happened? What was the worst possible situation regarding the sex and the passenger class?
Mm.
Look, what was the worst case scenario?
The third one.
Being a male in a third class, you had 13% chance to survive. Being a female in a first class, you had 97% chance to survive. You see?
Yes.
Okay. The worst was to be a male in a third class. So this really only 13% of passengers survived. So what are we now doing? We are doing the pattern recognition, okay? We are doing the pattern. We could do now the whole data mining analysis on this Titanic data set and get the result. And we will do application tomorrow regarding this. We will do the application. I will get you the whole data set because this is only a partial, well, because there were like 1,500 passengers. I don't know how many passengers were on, or no, more than 2,000 passengers, okay? And you can do then this kind of analysis. Was this difficult? I mean, we are just looking at the patterns. You know, you have to have domain knowledge and then try to explore data. So we did the group by multiple classes, okay? So already we did this. We converted back to data frame. We did this, reset to okay. And then only the missing values. Okay, so in the H, so for example, with the is NA, that's the same as in R. So in the R hat is NA function that gives you back the number of missing values. So what, and if you look at this, let's go under the code. Okay, you see, I'm getting the false, false, false. So somewhere I will get truth. Okay, so what do you think this does? Elise, you will know this. Okay, so what happens? Why can I use the sum on the Boolean operator? On the Boolean data types. Why can I use sum? Why can I do the plus? Elise, do you have any clues?
No, I have no idea.
Because implicitly behind the scenes, false will convert, okay, implicitly without you knowing, doing, will be 0 and the true to 1. Okay, so this will be 0, 0, 0, 0. And when you do the sum, okay, you can do the sum because it implicitly converts to zeros and ones. And you talked about with Professor Balash regarding the replacing the missing values, haven't you? You did or not? Okay, so what did you say? When should we when should we impute median and where mean? If our data is normally distributed, then we would go with mean. If our data is asymmetric, then no way, mean no way. You go with median. Okay? So first, like in this case, okay, when we have df, if I just, like run df, if I just run it, I will get the possibilities. Okay, so let me go there. These two options here, you see? Okay. I can click on the interactive table where I can play with filters. I can play with filter. But this is not what I wanted to show you. Then you will get suggest charts. And if I click on this, I will get the most important chart. So in this case, it's actually giving me a few charts, not the best one, what I would do. Okay, I could still do this on my own. For example, I will do the chart for H. I would say DF just to be on a safe, like I would say H. Probably it will give me an error, then I will correct it. And you can just say histogram. Okay. You could say, I think it's the bean, number of beans. Let's go with what? 50. Okay, so what do they have? Okay, I'm not beans S. Okay, like this. And you can immediately see what? Immediately you can see. This is asymmetric. So filling the NA values for H, the right one is median or mode. Okay? Not mean. Because if you insert mean, you will distort the current distribution. Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay, so for you see, for example, here for the nominal variables we set unknown for cabin, and for the embarked we set the mode, the first one, okay? Mode. Sometimes you can drop, but this is not in data mining. You will probably talk about more a little bit more about this. So why? For example, I don't know if you discussed this with Professor Balash. What did he I think that I already asked you this. What did he tell you about the missing values and dropping the missing values? What did he tell you? Anyone? You cannot just drop missing values. For example, let's say that you have a 10% of missing values and you have a huge data sample. You cannot just drop the missing values. You have to calculate whether the values are missing completely at random. Little MCAR test. Okay? Check this at home. Okay. This is it for today. So I hope that uh, a few of you will actually come to my special lesson session tomorrow when we will prepare our working environment to do the vibe coding. And what else? Yeah, you have to do the module 4 on your own, which is actually what we covered here, maybe a few of the stuff more. I will give you my video, which is AI generated, so I'm talking, though I'm not talking actually. And then hope to see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. if you like. It's not, there is not, there will be no attendance, okay? No attendance. This is completely voluntary, optional.
Professor, what is the deadline for the project submission?
Well, we will talk about this on Friday. You will tell me if you would like, I don't know, having, I don't know, maybe a few days more after we finish it, maybe 1 week. I don't know. Just, like talk to each other and give me 2 options, okay? Is that okay?
Yeah, fine. We can discuss them. Continue.
Okay. Thank you for attending.